Hey guys, today we are going to do a carburetor on a 208cc cmxx gasoline engine. This one's on a pressure washer. I've seen this style on generators and stuff. Possibly a little snowblower or something. You know, who knows. This one's on a pressure washer. So first thing we're gonna do, let's see if I can get a flashlight on this guy here. Just take this bolt and that bolt out, get to the air filter. Take those two out. Just 8mm bolts, little foam filter inside. When we get to this section here, we're going to pull this metal plate right out. That's a spark arrestor for the carburetor, just so if any backfire, it kind of blocks it from burning through the foam filter. Then we got two 10mm bolts in there, and we got one back on the back. We're going to pop those three out real quick. Alright, and then we got to pull this off. Let's get that out of there. There's a hose up here. Squeeze this clamp, pop that out. I need both hands, got to squeeze and pop at the same time. Pull the choke arm off. So this right here, this flap right here holds that choke arm in place so it doesn't come off. So you take the choke arm off after you take this off, and you'll put it back on before you put this back on. So a pair of pliers. We're gonna go ahead and take fuel line clamp off. Before I get this off, let me get a container to drain it in. I use a empty water bottle. There's a little bit of condensation water still in there from where I drink the water. So if there's a tiny droplet of water in the bottom of this, I'll know that that's from the bottle. But if there's a bunch of it in there, then I'll know that that's from the gas. But so far, this gas is looking really good, clean, clear. So it's looking like they're fine there. We're going to drain all the gas out, though, get rid of it. This is your on-off. This is off. See, stopped it. And then the other way is on. Just so you guys know. Alright, make sure you drain all the gas out. And we're going to use air hose. Or if you don't have an air hose, shove a rag in there. You want to dry it completely out. You don't want any moisture left in there. Because if there is any water, it could be on the bottom, and you move it around, it swishes, and as soon as it hits that line, it goes right to the bottom of your carburetor, and we don't want that. Carburetor, everything you need for this video or for this repair will be in the description below. I'll put a brand new carburetor in there and everything for you. That way, if you pull your carb apart and it's fucked, you'll be able to just buy a new one. I'm going to just rebuild this one and show you how to do that. There's some special stuff that I use. I'll put that in the description as well. Alright, we're going to take the spring off. Then take the throttle arm off. It comes straight up out. When you pull this out a little bit to there, it'll come straight up out of it. And we'll pull this the rest of the way out. Now we're going to take a nice clean, well, not clean, but dry area. We're going to tip this upside down. That way anything that runs out, we can tell if there's water in it. Water bubbles up, but I'm not seeing any water. We're looking good. 10mm, we're going to take that bolt right there off. Got that out. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this pin. Pull the float. Needle valve. Alright, now we're going to go ahead in here. There's a jet right in there. We're going to pull that out. What I do is I take a number 2 screwdriver and then I grind the sides off so that it fits right down in. Fits right in there perfect. We're going to take that jet out. So this is an orifice tube that goes under the jet. I'll show you how that goes back in. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and clean the jets. Alright, so as promised, acid. So, this stuff will burn your hands. Wear vinyl gloves. It'll burn your eyes. Wear safety goggles. If you get this in your eyes, rinse it out with water immediately. It will freaking blind you. Rinse it out with water immediately. Seek medical attention if you have to. If you get it on your skin, it will burn your skin. It's not gonna melt through you like RoboCop type stuff. It's nothing like that. But it will burn. So a little water, boom, you're fine. You'll see like an orange stain on your skin for a few weeks, and your skin will peel a little bit, you know, like a bad sunburn or something. But that's about it. Wear vinyl gloves, you won't have this issue at all. I've tried all the different kinds of acids. This one's the one that works best. Some of them melt through the brass, some of them eat through the aluminum. You can only use this one. I'll put it in the description below. A bottle of this does 50-60 carburetors for me. So 1-2 drops in each spot is pretty much all you need. Let's see her work. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're gonna go 1, 2 drops, 3 drops there, whatever. A couple drops there. Did I make it in there? Those are your idle circuits. Those got to get good and cleaned out. These are good. And we're going to take carb cleaner, or brake parts cleaner, either or, and just slowly rinse these off so you don't get any splash. You don't want it to splash up in your eyes. If this stuff gets in your eyes, it's going to burn like crazy, but it's not going to hurt you. It'll be fine. Just hurts like hell, but you'll be fine. Just hold still. You know, you can rinse it with water if you want, but until this is done evaporating off, it's going to burn. Once it's done evaporating, your eyes are fine again, and you'll wish it never happened. But after a while of doing this stuff, I get this in the eye, and I just keep going. It doesn't even bother me anymore. You get it in your eye, you're going to wish you hadn't. I promise. All right. So now that I've gotten these kind of rinsed off good, I'm going to put good hard pressure through them with a straw. All these spots, get them good sprayed out. These are nice and shiny and new looking. All right, take this idle screw out. Now this is the idle jet. I'm going to take and pry that up. Get it out. It takes 2 hands. There's a tiny jet right in there too. It's a hidden one, but it'll make your engine surge. We don't have that perfectly clean too. Now while we let that boil out and get to where it's good and clean, we're going to spray all the outside of this off. We're going to spray all the inside of this off. Notice I left this gasket there. Don't mess with it. Just leave it where it is and you won't have to replace it. Same with the bowl. We're going to go ahead and clean that all out. We're going to clean this all out as well. And then we're going to spray through this again gently first and then hard to make sure there's no debris in it at all. That was nice and clean now. Don't worry about the staining. That's not going to hurt anything. You're just trying to get all the crunchies off, you know. So you rinse them all out real good. If you have to, like this one here, you use a flathead screwdriver and you scrape the crunchies out of it. So it's nice and, you know, the staining's fine, whatever. You don't have to get that perfectly shiny. That stuff, if it wears out with good gas, it'll just, you know, change the color of the gas slightly. You won't even notice it. And then that'll get burnt through the carburetor anyways. It's the crunchies. If the crunchies get loosened up, they'll clog the jet because the jet's literally a pinhole. Alright, so now we got everything clean. Now we're going to reassemble everything. So first thing we're going to do is this idle circuit. We're going to push this back down in. See, there's a flat spot on this. And there's a flat spot right there. That lines up with that. Just push it right all the way down in. Whoop, don't drop it on the floor and break it. And the idle screw goes right back in. And screw that in with a screwdriver. About that much. Okay, orifice tube. There is a flat spot on it. That goes towards the jet. So this will go in like this. And then the jet has a flathead slot that goes up. And then you tighten that down with that screwdriver you know, mangled with the grinder to make it fit. Make sure your screwdriver is nice and wiped off. You don't want to shove dirt into the jet, right? Like that. Now I'm going to take the float. The float's got a needle valve on it. We're going to stick that needle valve right down into this hole here. Just like that. And then we're going to get the pin. And we're going to put the pin back through to hold it all in place. It's going to take a couple hands to do that. Just like that. Then we're going to rinse everything out real good again. Make sure there's no dirt inside there. Drain it all out. Blow it all out. Whatever you got to do. And then we're going to put this bowl on. This bowl has a drain screw on it. The drain screw goes the opposite direction of the fuel inlet. Because the fuel is going to come in this side. You want to be able to go to this side and drain the carburetor. So, opposite side. Just like that. Then we're going to take this bolt and we're going to, sometimes it's got a bunch of crust in there. I just wipe it off on my pants and it takes it right off. And we're going to tighten that bowl back down. 10 millimeter. It's completely assembled. Tank's been cleaned out. We've got a gasket on this side right here. You got to make sure that you got that gasket. I pulled it off. It stayed there. If it stayed on the carburetor, I would have left it alone. Wouldn't have messed with it. This one stayed on this side. I left it alone. If less you mess with it, the better. All right. So we're gonna put this carburetor in, and then we're gonna leave it out a bit, and we're gonna put this throttle arm back in. See, I'm sorry. Here, let me get it back out. Pull this back out. I'll show you one more time. Here, let me get back out and show you one more time. I didn't get it. Alright, so you just put it down in, and you're going to wiggle it around, and it goes in. Boom. Then you take the spring, and it goes back in. If I can get this on done. Goes right back in to that hole right there. Just like that. That helps keep it from surging. You want to make sure this spring is hooked up on this side and on this side over here, the governor arm over here. Make sure it's hooked up, because it'll surge if it isn't hooked up. Alright, hook up the fuel line. Boom. Get the pliers, and we're going to take and reinstall the clamp so you don't have any fuel leaks. Bam, just like that. Alright, now we've got, what do we got? Let's make sure we're not forgetting anything here. This thing here, this guy here, it's got the gasket there. Alright, okay, before we put that on, choke arm. Choke arm goes up here, on here, pin slides down in the choke. Make sure that's working. Make sure your throttle's wiggling back and forth too. If it's frozen, you got to free it up. This will go back on here, like that. And then, oh wait a minute, I'm upside down. Like this. Go on, turn there, and then you see that tab holds that choke arm in place. This vacuum line will go back on to that nipple. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this metal plate on, just like this. There we go. And then we're going to put these two 10 millimeter nuts on. This is just going to hold this in place while I put the hose back on. All right, that'll hold that in place. And you get your hose. Where my hose at? There they are. And then we're gonna put it on here. It's gonna take 2 hands because it's got the clamp on it. I'm gonna have to move the clamp back. Get it in place. Make sure you have your clamp on it. You got to keep your hose in check. All right. And we're gonna put the 10 millimeter on the bottom of this guy here. Before you tighten up those 2 other nuts, make sure you get that started. Then you're gonna tighten that 10 millimeter and those 2 10 millimeter nuts. Put this back on notch side up. Goes right over that where that bolt goes there. Get that set right into place. And then we're going to put this back on. That gap side is going to go down. Boom. And then there's 2 8 millimeter bolts to hold it in place. Put them back in. I'm gassing it. Alright guys, again, I'll put all the parts that you'll need for this in the description below. Give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if this helped you out in any way, shape, or form. Today's t-shirt will be in the description below as well. If you want to do any advertising through me, message me. Love to have a sponsor. Peace.